This is the burner from my propane forge. It's a Venturi burner. Basically, when the gas comes out of the tube inside here, that pulls air in through these holes, and that's how you get that air-fuel mixture that burns really nice. It's adjustable. You can adjust how much air goes in there. It's pretty simple. I actually bought this from the internet. It looked fancier in the ad, but it's actually pretty simple. I'll pull it apart here so you can see how it looks inside. Here are the parts inside of it. Basically just a brass fitting with a old MIG welding tip on it. I believe that's a 030 diameter hole. So what I'd like to do here is build a smaller version of that burner, possibly for a smaller forge for making small things, or just to have, I don't know. But here's some of the pieces I found around. I've got a piece of 1/2-inch pipe, which will be the body, a little 1/8-inch piece with a reducer that's 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, I think. Little piece of 1/4 inch pipe and a 1/4 inch elbow, and this cap will come off, but that'll go into my adapter thing that goes into my propane hose. And this cap, which is not the right size, I need to run to the hardware store, but that's what we'll drill the hole in for the gas to come out of. It's going to be pretty simple, so we'll see how well it works. I'm going to start by drilling the air holes into the main pipe. On this burner you can see there are 4 of them. They look to be about 1/2 inch. We're going to go a little smaller, probably 3/8. The brass piece will sit inside about this far, so I've marked on the pipe where the bottom of that will be, and we'll drill our 2 holes up above that. Alright, I don't have a tripod, so this is the best angle you're going to get. Alright, now we got a couple of crooked air holes. They should work fine though. This drill press is really not meant for drilling big holes in metal like this, but it should suffice for our purposes. The next thing that I'm going to do here is drill and tap a few holes around the top of this, just for some retention screws to hold the propane tube in. Alright, I have it marked where our holes need to be. Now, let's just drill them out. Alright, I don't actually have a tap wrench, so I'm just going to use some small crescent wrenches. We'll tap this hole. Now we can thread some bolts in there to hold the tube in. Alright, do you notice something goofy? It turns out I don't have a lot of bolts with that thread pitch on them, so this is what we got going on so far. These will be temporary though, I'll put in better ones. But they hold them in, and we'll use that for the test. Another thing I'm noticing though is that there's not a lot of clearance between the cap and the inside of the pipe, so I don't know how much air is going to be able to be drawn in through there, so we might have to add more holes underneath it. We'll see how it works. Alright, now I'm going to drill the hole in the cap for the gas to come out of. To do that, I have a set of very small bits. I'm probably going to use like 70 or 65 for this. I think the first one I built was with a size 60, so I'll start out with something smaller. But as you can see, these get much smaller to the point where if you look at them wrong, they'll break, so we're not going to do that. Here we go. We're going to do this very carefully. I'm going to seal up all the fittings with thread tape. For those of you watching at home and following along, don't use normal Teflon tape, use the gas tape. If you use normal tape, it will leak, so don't do that. Okay. Got all this threaded together. Put the elbow on. Now I'm just going to hook it onto my propane hose, and then we'll attach the body to it. You're going to want to make sure these are all pretty tight so they don't leak at all. That would be bad. There we go, that's not going anywhere. Something like that. Alright, so I got the body on. I put the cap pretty much right between the two holes. You can adjust the depth with these retention screws, and you can also use them to adjust the angle of how it sits inside there so you can keep it straight. But yeah, it's hooked onto the hose, so it's time to go see if it runs. Alright, here we are set up. To get it to run outside of a confined space like a forge or something, you need to put a reducer on the end. So I've done that. Another tip: if you're going to actually run this for a long time, don't use galvanized pipe. In fact, don't use galvanized pipe for any of these parts because the zinc coating will burn off and you might get metal fume fever, so don't do that. But we're going to test it with this for now. And there you go, it's running. Alright, so there's the small burner. It looks like it's working pretty well. Actually, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll definitely be using this again in the future.